Morning, everyone. Welcome to the Teach Better Today morning show, where we are part of your morning every single morning, Monday through Friday at 7 a.m. Eastern. Hopefully, this is a routine that you've gotten in some consistency here. We really appreciate you tuning in. We'd love to see you in the comments, or if you're listening over on Teach Better Talk podcast, we would also love to hear from you. We are headed into a really fun conversation. I'm going to make Josh choose the topic live on screen. Feel free to add your thoughts in the comments. And we are going to dive in with hot coffee in hand. We'll be right back. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Teach Better Today morning show. Joshua Stanford joining the show again, which means you know it's going to be a good day. Josh, how you feeling?
I'm feeling awesome. Like 3 days in a row. This is amazing.
It's a good day. I needed to have you on the show 3 days in a row because then Katie and Jeff, I think, are taking over the rest of the week, and like that's no fun. So yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think this combo right here is pretty special.
Yeah, this is the combo for sure. This is the way to keep it, without a doubt. Hey, I am spoiler alert for when this comes. I'm having surgery tomorrow.
Oh my goodness.
I know.
Are you ready? Mentally and physically prepared for?
That's a really big question. Did you want to separate out some of those? That was like that's too much. I can't answer that.
Because I mean, this isn't the first time that you've gone through this process, correct?
This is my third time having shoulder surgery, which I just want to add some comical element. You only have two shoulders. You shouldn't have to do it 3 times.
I mean, really, 3 times is 3 times too many.
Right. But also maybe third time's a charm?
Maybe. I hope for you. Good night. So do you want to share what's going on?
Yeah, I'm having shoulder surgery again. And it's funny because I think some of like our community here has literally seen me through 2 already. So get stoked for the third. So excited. I will say at least the last 2 shoulder surgeries were on my right side.
Yes.
This one is on the left. So like, to be fair, it's not like the exact same thing because it's the other shoulder. But
so is this occurring because of your lifting program that you've been doing?
Yeah, it's a massive weights I've been lifting. I'm just like a baller. Like, look at these guns. No.
No, I don't have tickets to the gun show, Rae. I'm sorry.
Yeah, exactly. No, but I am so excited to just like do it all over again. It's just going to be a blastity blast. I can
tell in your voice that you're super stoked.
Yeah, I'm not excited for the surgery. Like, if anyone want to text me tomorrow, I will be a hot mess express. But I am excited about the recovery only because I have a doctor right now who's like, Mr. You got this, positivity, no concern. This is going to be the last time I'm ever going to see you kind of guy. So
is it toxic, or do you feel like...
It's not like yesterday's show. No, it's a good, like, he's like super hopeful. And I think when you're doing something the third time, when you feel like you shouldn't have had to even do it once, you need like a rah-rah cheerleader. This dude's like legit. Like, the first few surgeries I had, I was like in a sling for like 6 to 8 weeks. Then it was just like this long process.
So are you going to have a sling again? Because I remember you like not able to do too much.
Oh yeah, are you super excited? I'm bringing back the sling. I'm bringing back the ice machine that like wraps around and attaches. Oh yeah, it's gonna be fancy. I'm gonna start a whole like modeling campaign of shoulder slings. Just wait. But
I'm excited about your Instagram stories. I can't imagine what that's gonna look like.
But I will say, like, my doctor now, a new one. This is my 11th shoulder doctor. 11th.
Wow.
Yep. Shout out to him. He's like, I'm gonna get you out of the sling in 2 weeks. He's like, I'm gonna have you up and moving. The only restriction I legitimately will have that is the same is I can't lift anything.
Okay.
But like, it's fine. Who needs to lift things? Like, who needs arms? You know?
You'll just pause those workouts.
Yeah. I make really inappropriate jokes when I'm in the doctor's office. Like, I was like, if you can't fix it, just like cut the arm off. And he like doesn't think that's funny. But at this point, you gotta laugh through it.
So
right?
is he just deadpan and like it was an awkward moment after you said that?
Yeah, like it's not like, oh, I don't get the joke. He like doesn't approve of my like it's like worse. Like I'm like, oh, if you get in there and it like doesn't look good, just like chop it off. And he just looks at me and he's like, I will not be doing that. And I'm like, obviously, like,
I wish I was a fly on the wall for that. That would have been hilarious.
I also like, he also assures me, like, has put his name on the line. He's like, this is the last one. We're gonna, So
did you get that in writing, signed contract?
I'm gonna bring him on the live show someday and be like, can you tell our community it's the last one? Listen, we all have health things. We all have like, you know, bumps and bruises, things we go through. Unfortunately, and fortunately, so many in this community have even reached out to us to share some of their hardships so that we can better support you. Like, we know this is a part of life, but there is some humor in doing it a third time. Like, I think I'm going in a little ignorantly, being like, it's just too funny now. Like,
you can't make it up.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like the first 2 times you're like, oh, this is so terrible. And now you're like, someone's playing a joke. Like, I'm not punked.
But that's how educators are too. I mean, that's how it is in the classroom. That's how it is in the, you know, for administrators. Like, you can't make it up. And if you don't have a sense of humor about it, then it's going to be hard to get through those tough times.
Yeah. So anywho, if anyone wants to laugh with me, I'm looking for good laughing buddies to giggle through this, and it'll be great. And to make it even better, to kind of just like add on to the goofiness, I'm having surgery tomorrow, and then we have people staying at our house for the weekend. Who planned that? Not me.
I was going to say, aren't you in charge of your schedule?
I wish I was, but as many of you know, you are not always in charge of your schedule.
No, I know that.
So I will literally, for those of you who just want to giggle, like, I will literally be locked in my room. I'm going to lock the door and be like, leave me alone. Just need ice, and I want to sleep for like 3 days. And I want my puppies and maybe the kids to like come give me a hug and kiss every so often.
Small stints.
And then I'm just going to sit with my cup of coffee. I'm going to DoorDash food in my locked room. And I will respond to texts from all of you, but I will not be like hosting.
Yeah, please, everyone, shout out to Rae, you know, maybe on social media, DM her, text her, throw in the comments, well wishes, because I know that's not going to be a fun experience. And I can only imagine you're going to have a huge do not disturb sign on your locked door as you are trying to recover.
Can you, Josh, you're so artsy fartsy because you're so amazing. Okay, for those of you who don't know, Josh was an art teacher before he went into administration, which is like ridiculous. Which, by the way, I feel like almost all of the goofy administrators that I'm like friends with did that. Like you, Brad Hughes, Christopher McGraw, like you all were like art teachers gone admin psychos. Anyway,
we're a rare breed there.
Yes. Will you make me like a handmade sign and like mail it to me?
I'd love to. That's the least I could do for your third surgery.
Do you have anything exciting going on this coming weekend? It's like Labor Day weekend.
I know. My birthday's coming up.
Oh, that's epic. Are we doing a big birthday bash?
Well, my mom and my sister are coming out to visit for my birthday, which is extremely rare. So yeah, it's kind of a big deal. They're coming to Colorado. I mean, as you know, and maybe not a lot of folks do, but we moved from Texas to Colorado. So we're in Colorado Springs, and it's a phenomenal place. And they, of course, were like, well, you're in Colorado, so we're going to come and visit. So they just happened to coordinate it to come on my birthday. So I'm pretty excited.
Okay, I'm going to ask you really inappropriate questions. First off, I don't know. What day is your birthday?
September 2nd.
Okay, so that's like really coming up this weekend.
Really?
Birthday.
Yeah, it's coming up.
Is this a significant milestone birthday or just one to celebrate?
I'll be honest, I'm turning 43.
Oh.
So it's not significant. It's not like a zero attached to a number. It's nothing
or
special.
A 5. Aren't
or 5.
5
Yeah,
doable? Okay.
I don't feel like it's anything out of the ordinary, but I think just the fact that we're in a new area, it's beautiful here, they want to experience. In Texas, when they come and visit, it was like 116 degrees. And from that, they're traveling from Minnesota up north, down south. It's a really big difference. And so they always look like death because they just couldn't get used to the extreme heat. So now we live in a much different, climate, and, there's mountains everywhere. And so it's pretty, I'm pretty excited. There might be some tattoos that occur, during this weekend also as a birthday
Ooh.
gift. So I know you and I have had many conversations about our tattoos. So
We do like to have tattoo conversations. Hey, everybody's got their thing, right? Like, we're not condoning tattoos, but
no spoilers. I'm just gonna throw that out. Maybe
So
check on Instagram or something.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if we follow you on social media, we'll be able to see birthday presents, including all the things. Okay.
Gotcha.
I will say, Josh, just about the 43. I have so many friends, like my best friends, almost all of them, over the course of the last few years have like hit that 43 mark or getting close to it. I have to tell you, 43, I think, is like the new prime awesome age. Like, everyone's rocking it, like living their best life. Like, I think 43 is going to be a great year for you.
I am super excited. I mean, just even this last year, I mean, now we're in a beautiful area. We love it here. And, getting to work with the Teach Better team is, I mean, I only see sky's the limit.
It's going to be so good. So good. And you're still like, God, you're not even like halfway through life. You have such good things coming. Can't wait. Let's stop. It's such good stuff. All right, guys, we're getting into our conversation. I'm not spoiling what we're talking about yet because I'm leaving it to Josh to actually pick, and he has no idea what I'm going to throw at him yet. So we'll be right back, and we'll get into conversation. Hey everyone, welcome back to Teach Better Today morning show. We are getting into our team talk, which is when we answer different questions or approach different topics related to education. Today we are doing a listener question. We just don't know which one yet because Josh is going to choose. Josh, here's the deal. We have 2 listener questions that I think are really good for you to discuss with us on the show. One is related to recommendations on consumable ways to learn. So talking about like books, podcasts, resources. That's one direction.
Okay.
And the other question has to do with navigating imposter syndrome.
Oh,
both
goodness.
Are really good. Like, I feel like getting your perspective on both of those is good. We've had some of these discussions in the past, but not specifically on the Today Show.
Okay.
So what are you most drawn to?
I think the easiest question is the first one. I think the imposter syndrome is opening up yourself to being transparent, which I'm not opposed to at all. So
here's my criticism. We have actually done a live together recommending books and podcasts.
This is true.
So I'm not like anti-doing it. I just know that we've already had the conversation.
I know.
Imposter syndrome we've not discussed. I
We
don't
haven't.
think exclusively.
I was drawn to that one just because it's more difficult.
Yeah.
Is that weird?
No.
Okay, let's do that one then.
Okay, so here's the question. Hey, Teach Better team. I am exploring being the best teacher humanly possible, and I'm finding myself falling into imposter syndrome, not knowing how to share on social media, share with my colleagues. I feel like I'm embarrassing myself constantly. I don't necessarily feel, like she writes, like, I don't necessarily feel the imposter syndrome in the classroom,
Right.
but out when I'm sharing into the world. So this is a really good discussion because I want to just put on the table, I think we've all felt imposter syndrome. So maybe we start by defining it and then discuss overcoming it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
How would you define imposter syndrome?
And specifically what she's talking about, I think she's just thinking that the value that she's pushing out is not to the quality of what she's comparing with others. And I think that's the drawback is when you start trying to compare with other folks. And I do this all the time. I mean, I don't know if you, Ray, but like, so many folks are doing so many amazing things in different sectors of their life. If it's speaking, if it's writing books, if it's podcasting or getting on YouTube and creating videos. I mean, there's like so many different things that, educators are doing now, or even just creating TikToks or Instagram stories or whatnot. I think it's easy to fall into that trap of that comparison of, oh, I'm not doing enough, or I'm not doing it at the same level, or what I'm creating is not valuable to other people. And I think people have spoken into my life enough to say like what you're doing or what your normal is something abnormal to someone else. Like we can't assume that what we're doing in our classroom or at the campus level, because it's our everyday, we just think it's like a normal thing that everyone's doing. But that's not the case. Like your story is important, and sharing that out is extremely important, because what you are doing, someone else may see, steal it, implement it in their classroom or on the campus, and make a huge impact just because you shared it on social media or shared it in a different outlet. So I think a lot of educators, a lot of leaders specifically, feel imposter syndrome a lot. And I think especially now with social media and how much content is out there, I think it's easy to start to play that comparison game.
Yeah, so imposter syndrome is something I know I have felt a ton. I'm glad, Josh, that you acknowledge like you have felt it too. I
For
don't
sure.
know anybody who's sharing content that hasn't felt it. And if you're the 1% or the 0.01%, go crazy. But imposter syndrome can be in personal life or in professional life, and it's feeling like you're not good enough to be doing what you're doing.
Yep.
And I think that hiding imposter syndrome is detrimental to somebody else. Like it's okay that we are all questioning if what we're doing is good enough. I think that that's just human nature. But I think, like you shared so perfectly, Josh, whether there's a million people doing the same thing you're doing or not, the way you share it, the way you go about it, the way you reflect will help someone else. And not sharing is almost selfish, right? Like there's so many educators in this world doing incredible things that if you keep it to yourself, then you're not helping the next person duplicate it and do something incredible for more people. So it's kind of a tricky balance of almost faking it until you make it. Like give yourself the confidence to share, even if you don't feel as though it's enough, because it's actually benefiting so many other people by you mustering up the courage to overcome that lack of confidence, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I want to expand on that, just the failure piece. I think just in education in general, failure is looked down on, and social media too. We see all the wonderful things, the wonderful thing that you're eating or the wonderful vacation you're going on. We get to see all of the fantastic experiences, but the value in failure and sharing that out is actually more beneficial, I think, to folks, and seeing that process. I mean,
Mhm.
if we just said we live perfect lives, we're the perfect teacher, the perfect administrator, how is anyone going to learn from that? So actually sharing, oh, I tried this component of it didn't work. This is the change I made, and now it's being successful. That's going to be so much more, like I said, beneficial to a person that's consuming that content. And that could be at a staff meeting, that could be just in a team meeting. It doesn't have to be on social media, but understanding that failure is a part of the process, accepting that, knowing that it's all about being better. that's the true goal. So that's the part that we need to be communicating.
Well, and I think that followers, like your followers, are going to be drawn to authenticity. I
Yep.
don't think that many followers are drawn to fake narratives, even though I think sometimes we fall into it. But I am such an advocate and a fan for like truly following people that are honest and real. And so I think to your point, hearing the reflection, hearing the failure, or hearing even just the small growth that isn't enormous empowers me to feel like it's obtainable versus somebody who is doing it perfectly the first time, and then I'm like, well, I won't do it perfect the first time, so why even try? Which I don't
No, it's true. I think
Yeah.
when you see a finished product and that's all you see, you
Mhm.
don't see the steps that are needed and that are obtainable. And so you're just like, oh, I can never do that. Or, it's too grand of a process. I can't fit that into my life. But if you can see the process of breaking it down and the step by step of, okay, these are the failures. Okay, I'm not going to do that because I saw them or experienced that. I'm going to do it a different way. I think that's when you can get to the top of the mountain. It doesn't seem as far of a journey.
So I have to ask Josh, you interview people constantly for the Teach Better team, for your Aspire to Lead podcast. Like, you are somebody who's constantly speaking and learning and questioning incredible educators. What is the percentage of people that you think you have interviewed, meaning that they were somebody who you wanted and were excited to interview on your podcast? What do you think is the percentage of people who have felt imposter syndrome?
I think if they were being honest, the majority. I would say a very large number. And to the point where you see extremely large names, people that are speaking in front of thousands and thousands of people, they feel that.
Mhm.
And I'll be honest, like when I started the podcast, it took me 6 months just to publish my first episode because I was feeling that imposter. Like, who am I to interview this educator and have a voice speaking to other potential leaders? So, like,
Yeah.
it took me some time to kind of get over that mental gymnastics and to say, no, I do have value here. I'm trying to help other people. So get over it, push it out, and then like have to get better in my craft and like experience, talking with these huge giants in education. It's intimidating. And so if you really were to ask them, I think you would be surprised. Everyone that's listening would be extremely surprised at the folks that would admit to feeling that imposter syndrome at various points in their career.
I feel it when we do this show. Like, Teach Better Today is a morning show where we are live Monday through Friday of an entire year. That's our plan. And frequently, as we click the live button to live stream this content, I am thinking like, oh my gosh, we have people that are like expecting us to entertain them. We have listener questions where we're going to respond to people who are struggling through something. Who am I to give any advice? I mean, I can lend my perspective, but I don't have answers. Like, gosh, I'm constantly learning every single day. And yet, I think for me, it's not about eventually getting to the point where you don't have imposter syndrome, but getting to the point where you understand that overcoming it is more valuable than choosing to live inside of it. So I don't think it's like a black and white system where suddenly you wake up and you're like, I no longer think that I'm concerned. Like, I'm no longer concerned or fearful. Like, but trying to find some space to make it not overcome your ability to share. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I think the feedback that we receive from folks saying, "Oh, that was helpful. Thank you so much for sharing that." I think that gives some validity to the fact that, okay, what I am doing is benefiting at least one person, hopefully more folks. But I think as you share, and to this person, it seems like they're sharing on social media, you're going to get that feedback where someone takes, the struggle that you're going through or the implementation of a project or whatnot and say, okay, thank you so much for sharing that. That helped me in my process. So I just want to share with everybody that's listening, like, if you have something, please share that content. Even if you don't get that feedback, like, I know for a fact that if it's a podcast, if it's a video, if it's just a Instagram story, that someone's going to take that and be able to use that. And like I said before, your stories are valuable.
Yes. And if you are wanting to take it even further, let's make sure that we are sharing our appreciation for those people that are sharing to keep them going. Like, every time I like something on social media, every time I save something on social media, it's an intentional moment of me saying, please keep this up.
Yep.
Please continue to share. Let's be even more specific in that and reach out to people and say, hey, just FYI, I love consuming your content. Like, I love when you share about your family or your classroom or anything else. So I think we can all just be a little bit better by supporting each other by building up confidence. That'll be good.
Rae, I appreciate all the content you create.
Josh, I always appreciate all the content you create so much. I really appreciate you being on the show. I will not be on the show for the next few episodes, but I will be watching every single morning at 7 a.m. Eastern. Josh, I hope you'll be in the comments watching as well.
Oh, for sure.
I think Katie and Jeff are on soon, but who knows?
Those two.
It's going to be a mess. Let's just put it that. It's going to be a mess. You guys will have a great time. I will be in the comments. I'm still around. And of course, Josh is always somebody that you can reach out to. Please let us know how we can support you and keep sending in those listener questions. We'll see you soon on the Teach Better Today morning show. Bye, friends. Hey, Teach Better community. Thank you so much for joining the Teach Better Today morning show every single weekday at 7 a.m. Eastern. We have so many resources for you outside of this live stream at teachbetter.com, including blogs, podcasts, and professional development that will bring our team to your school. Wherever you are listening from this morning, please make sure you are sharing and celebrating the incredible educators in this world. And hey, if you are listening over on a podcast to Teach Better Talk, we would love a 5-star review. The comments are always so entertaining. We'll see you tomorrow.